I didn't see the value then like I did now. And the value of these kids, they're more, look at this, they're more than just a project. This trip was pretty powerful for me. It was my first international trip, with Compassion. I'd done trips when I was living in California, like Mexico, to build houses and stuff with church, mission trips, but nothing on this great scale, if you will. And I'd never met a Compassion child. I'd wanted to sponsor one. I actually did for about a year and a half in the 90s. I think it was at a concert where I got that packet they were handing. I raised the hand and the packets came, and I was like, yes, no, and I was waiting for something to resonate or for me to catch my eye. And I think it was a girl, and I think it was an African girl. And for me, it was just like she was way over there, and I was here. And for whatever reason, maybe it's because I was in my 20s and I was just busy, and I was too busy to think or to give it value. I think that's what it was. I didn't see the value then like I did now. And the value of these kids, they're more, look at this, they're more than just a project, more than just someone to send a check to every single month. And I think this time, because I gave the program value and then the thought of meeting a sponsor child, which they set up for me, and they said, okay, give us a parameter. Okay, I want a boy, maybe this age, because I wanted to speak into a boy. I've always wanted to be a father to a boy, but God gave me 2 girls. And I'm like, God's got a sense of humor. So if I was going to sponsor a child this time, if I wanted to make it real for me, I wanted to deposit into a boy, now that I am a dad, and just love on him and give him those biblical values. So the thought of meeting a sponsor child for me, I couldn't wait for that day to happen, and it happened that week in Honduras. And it went from packet to person for me, and that's what made the difference. But going to Honduras and traveling with a small, intimate team and seeing these kids just brought it full circle for me. And I almost felt embarrassed that what I tried to do in the 90s didn't make the impact I thought it was going to make when I was there. And seeing these kids, I remember the first day we got to our first church partner, and we walked into this room, and there was over probably 200 kids, and several of them were in a front line. And every single member of our team, they had these signs. And there was a Ryan sign, and there was a Tom sign, and all these kids were holding up our names. And when I saw my name being held up with a child who never met me, and all they wanted to do was love on us when we were walking into the building, first thought I had was, wow, I really missed it back in the 90s when I thought I was making a difference, but all I was doing was sending a check to someone I'd never met before. And not that it would make any difference if I had or hadn't met him, but seeing the kids personally really, really did it for me on why the mission of Compassion and what you can do being intentional can make such a difference in your life. And seeing their faces, and then they sang for us, and then they fed us, and they showed us around, this mission and this school and this church, and they were so happy to be there. Even though the conditions might not be what we're used to here in the States, their conditions were so less than what I would think of. Oh my gosh, these kids hardly have anything, and the joy on their faces was something that wasn't fabricated, it wasn't fake, it was so real. I mean, even later after lunch, and we spent time with these mothers who were going through classes on how to be a mom. We fed these mothers, and some were nursing, and some were looking at us, and some gave us babies to hold, and to be a part of that was just something I'll never ever forget. And the joy of being part of the kids' life, to think that I'm writing letters and I'm sending, resources for them to eat and learn about Christ and become a fully devoted follower of Christ someday is so powerful. And that's really the story that I was excited to be a part of that week when we were in Honduras.